What is up, Internet? We have another book review here for you. I should have done that. So, the book review today is Drifter Diaries by our very legendary friend over here at Beagle Eye Visions. He's a great man. He's a good man. He is an adventurer. He's a wanderer. Yeah, Matt Bennett. Matt Bennett, everybody. Drifter Life, Drifter Diaries. So Matt Bennett has a podcast called Crazy Life Stories on Spotify. We are on one of those episodes, actually. So if you're curious to get into that, we get kind of deep in that episode. We talk about Molly. It's crazy over here at Beagle Eye Visions. So Molly. But anyways, so yeah, we're on that Skatopia episode. Check it out. We get kind of deep. We talk about how life should be. You know, how society should be. That's what Matt Bennett gets into, that a lot. About how society should be. You know, it's kind of a tough topic. But he's an absolute legend. He travels all over the place. He's one of those people who he just says F it. And if he wants to go somewhere, he's gonna get there. He doesn't. Money's not an issue to him. Even having a car is not an issue to him. If Matt Bennett wants to go somewhere, by golly, he's gonna go somewhere. And he tells us about it in this book. A lot of amazing stories. I started this book last night, just in bed. I started it while in between Fortnite rounds last night. Me and Jasmine were playing Fortnite. We were playing some Fortnite in there. But yeah, it's an amazing book. These stories are hilarious. I could not put it down. That's why I just sat in bed. It was the way that he tells his stories. When I was reading it, I felt like I was right there in the car with him. Like I don't know what it was, but I guess that's just books in general. You know, like we said in the last book review, books are they're movies that you can direct in your head. But in this book, Matt Bennett is the director, and he takes us all over America. You know, I think he just goes all over the place. Actually, speaking of the Skatopia episode, I got my Skatopia gear right here. You can get the Skatopia gear at skatopia.org. Shout out to them. You know, they got a lot of new shirts up on the website.
And they also have skateboards as well.
Yeah, they got a lot. Oh yeah, they got all the old school skateboards back up. So this year at Bull Bash, hit up Bruce, hit up the Skate Pope. He's gonna have all those old school boards that you guys have been craving for. All those American professional skateboarders. You guys can get your gear at Skatopia. You know, it's pretty cheap too, though. Usually when you buy a shirt, they'll hook you up with a whole ass load of stickers. You know, when we lived there, we always took care of people. Like, we gave shout out to George from the Kill George podcast. Speaking of, we were also on their podcast, so check that podcast out. Get your Skatopia gear. And so I think that was shout outs. Yeah, shout outs at the beginning. Shout out to The Illusion also. The Illusion is another YouTuber. He's a good, I want to say good friend of ours at Beagle Eye Visions, but we never talked to him. We need to get some Illusion gear, just like Skatopia gear. Anyways, Matt Bennett was our very first interview that we did over here at Beagle Eye Visions, and we did that interview also at Skatopia. So check out the Skatopia episode that we're on, and what else was I gonna say? Yeah, check out that episode. And then, so the very first interview. So there's a story, one of the very first stories that he gets into. He talks about how he packed a little old '97 beater mobile full of a bunch of CDs, and he went out to the west, I believe, and I think he went to Colorado and sold a bunch of CDs to get back here, and then he was like, well, I'm not done with my traveling, I'm going to go up to Detroit. And long story short, for that part of the story, he ends up he tries to go to Canada. He makes up a story. He's like, you can read it in the book for $1 off Amazon, by the way. The Kindle app that I read this book on, it was so easy to read. Like, it keeps track of your spot. You know, you can do bookmarks, and then when you get done with the book review, Amazon gives you the choice to like you can do a 1 out of 5 star little personal book review. I gave this book 5 stars because it was absolutely entertaining. It's only 70 pages. You can get through it in a few hours if you're one of those guys who who reads a lot. I got through it in about, I'll say, 3 or 4 hours. So it's a pretty easy book. So he ends up he makes up this story about he's got a long lost uncle in Canada, and he tries to go see his uncle in Canada, but they end up searching his car, and they put him into the interrogation room. They lock his ass up, and it's a crazy story. And I think so. Actually, I'm not trying to. This is kind of an easygoing book review because the last book review is a little bit serious. The Greatest Superstition by Larkin Rose. So I wanted to read this, take a little break, do something a little light. But it's like the Belief in Authority. These guys like bully the crap out of him, bully the crap out of poor Matt Bennett. Matt Bennett didn't do anything. He was just trying to go see Canada, and they locked his ass up, searched his car, did all sorts of stuff. Man. And there was another story about how he went to, he goes to California, he travels to California. I think it was No, this was the Florida story. So he travels to Florida. One of his friends one of his friends is trying to get a job at Disneyland, actually. It's totally random. Like, this whole book there's just so many random parts. That's part of the things that makes it hilarious, is that a lot of, it's like, some of the characters that, I say characters, but they're real life people. But some of the characters that he meets along the way, he's like, man, that type of stuff only happens to Matt Bennett, And it's like, yeah, that's it. Really only happens to Matt Bennett. Well, so anyways, one of the stories that he goes to Florida, and then he starts partying with some random chick that he meets and his friend, and the chick's like, hey, I know a secret spot. I know you guys want to go to the secret cave, and they climb through the forest. They have to climb against slippery logs and in the rain and the sleet and the snow uphill both ways, and they finally get to the cave, and he tells a story about how they carry all this wood to go find the secret cave, and then they have a fire in the middle of the cave, and they all watch the sun go down. So it was an amazing story. It was really good. You need to read it, Jasmine.
Oh yeah.
Shoot, this book is just. And it was, like I said, it was nice to take a little break after the last book, but it is like you get kind of deep with that deep story right there. It's a couple friends hanging out, having a couple beers. They have a little adventure. They find a secret cave off the coast, and then they go after they find the cave, hang out, watch the sun go up or go down. I can't remember which one. They go off for burritos. It's a great story. It's awesome. Good classic. There's a squirrel climbing up that ladder. Oh. Some good classic Americana, because, a lot of people don't travel. Me and Jasmine were talking about this before the camera started rolling. A lot of people just don't travel.
Yeah.
Even if, a
lot of people don't get out of their house and do anything, and then you don't have stories like this to tell people, or...
Yeah, just random stories. Yeah, it made me think of some of the stories.
It made Matt write a book, because all the crazy stuff that he had.
It's a really good book. And this is the first one too, by the way. So he's got a podcast. He's got 2 books, Drifter Diaries, and the other one's called Retail Stories or something like that. And I can't wait to get into that one, because me and Jasmine, we've worked retail. It's hell. So we can definitely relate to that one. But we can also relate to the traveling stories. You got to get out there, live your life a little bit. We know people who can afford to like. Jasmine and I can't afford to travel. We usually can't afford to travel. We just say, screw it. We're going to get some crappy Chevy Astro, some 99 Chevy Astro, and we're going to go to Skatopia or whatever,
Yeah.
It's fun. It's fun. You just get these crazy experiences. It reminded me of that time, you remember when we went to Chicago, and that British guy. We met that British guy at O'Neill's Pub, and shout out to Kevin, too. And there was another time where Kevin and his lady friend drove me, Matt Bennett, I think Nick Wagner was there, and it was just a car full of us to Skatopia for Bruce's birthday, one of the backwoods parties, and it was amazing. Like we had we took some psychedelics, of course. And then we watched this burning car at the top of the hill at the Louisville and Kevin, Matt, Kevin, Nick. I think we were all sitting on the hill at the Louisville and watching this car burn. And then all the bands got done playing, and somebody started playing Pink Floyd's "Dark Side of the Moon" right when we all started peeking and watching this car burn. It was beautiful, beautiful moment, just like the cave story in this book.
I mean,
check it out.
Not the car burning.
Yeah, not the car burning. That's a little sad, but it's a materialism thing. We understand why they burn the cars. They burn the cars for materialism, and Matt Bennett gets into that stuff. There's also another story. He does so much in these little 70 pages. I mean, people say 1984. They pack a lot of stuff in that book, but there's a lot of adventure in this book. He goes to. There's another story where he ends up going to rehab after he does all this traveling, and he ends up going to rehab, which is really good. I mean, I was always curious about rehab being with how our family is. So how some of our family is. So, it was kind of cool to read about the experience of rehab and then Matt Bennett now he doesn't drink anymore, so that's awesome. Shout out to Matt Bennett. Shout out to Matt Bennett for not drinking anymore. It is poison. It's fucking
horrible.
I mean, it's poison. But yeah, so Matt Bennett doesn't drink anymore, so that's awesome. He's doing really good.
Doesn't smoke cigarettes.
Yeah, he doesn't smoke cigarettes anymore. In the story, he talks about he's like, I'll stop at the gas station and get cigars and cigars and snacks. So you get food stamps to get snacks, which reminded me of it reminded me of when we lived in Marion, Indiana too. Because he takes a bus 2 or 3 times to apparently if you go to Los Angeles, they'll give you a free ticket back to if you have a solidified place of where you're going, they'll give you a free Greyhound bus ticket to wherever you're going.
Wow.
Isn't that pretty cool?
That is pretty cool.
I didn't know that. So, and then now I read this book and now I know.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Books are great.
It's kind of cool. Yeah, books are great. Shout out for books. But yeah, it's just amazing book. And then there's some positivity in there. There's some negativity. This book takes you on an emotional roller coaster ride. It does. So shout out to Matt. He's an amazing guy. Keeps writing these stories, entertaining us. Something a little light. The next book is going to be Animal Farm by George Orwell. So we're going back to the serious content. And the way we're doing it, we have a lot of books on the list, but the way we're doing it, we're doing the kind of the light, easy to digest books. I started off with the barcode series, and then we're going to do the Animal Farms. But then in the future, we're going to start getting into Carl Jung. We're going to get into the red books of Carl Jung, the black books of Carl Jung. We're going to start doing Esoteric Hollywood. The Biology of Belief by Dr. Bruce Lipton. We're going to start doing. We got to do Marja West's book.
Oh yeah, that one's good.
Effed Wide Open. We got to do that one. So there's a lot of books on the list. We got a lot of work to do. I'm going to be taking Mark Passio's seminar called How to Become the True Media Seminar, which is enrollment starts this Saturday at midnight. So if you're interested in making podcasts and doing the one great work and stuff like that, so shout out to the How to Become the True Media Seminar. You're just rubbing your eyeballs.
I had an itch.
Camera girl's itching in the eyeball. So yeah, I mean, this is not much to say. This is a short book. The stories are amazing. The Kindle app is super easy to use.
Do you have any shows coming up?
And you can get this book for $1. Shows coming up. Well, June 17th, The Old Breed is playing in Newcastle, Indiana. So that should be fun. Dead End on Sarah's playing. I'm playing. If you're into that stuff. Huh, man, I thought I had more to say. But that's just like the Pink Floyd,
I think I'm going to wrap up with the saying, get out of your house more, because then you can write books like this.
Get out of your house. and write books like this. Hey, shout out to Amazon, too, because I believe Amazon, I know Amazon, my aunt published a book through Amazon, and she said it was super easy. Matt Bennett posted a book through Amazon, super cheap, $1. Get this book for $1. You can read it off your phone. You can read it in an hour and a half. Read it on the toilet. You know, read it. Just anytime you get on the toilet, instead of reading Facebook, read this. Read one story on the toilet. They're amazing stories. Shout out to Matt Bennett. Oh, and by the way, so this book, throughout this book, you'll see like the YouTube links. There's a lot of YouTube links, but all the YouTube links are broken. I tried a lot of them. So, Matt Bennett, we need to get you to South Bend. Do another interview, hang out, something. Get out your house.
Yeah.